The views and opinions of the Nissan Nation podcast are simply that. They are views and opinions of its guests or hosts. They do not reflect Nissan corporate or otherwise. Now, a DRB and KGB media presentation, the Nissan Nation podcast. Hit it, Kelly.
Recorded live, coast to coast, it's a Nissan Nation podcast. From camping, racing, and all points in between. The NNP is your Nissan Nation podcast. Now start your engines and welcome in your hosts, David, Danny, and Holden.
What is going on, Nissan Nation? From all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to way over in the ATL, and then we're going to fly back to the LAX. This is your Nissan Nation podcast, and we are big and strong tonight, man. We've got all three amigos here, and we got good times. We got Captain Frozy over there. We got Daniel Groders, and we got Holden Scott. Danny. I thought you lived in SoCal, man. You're sitting over there in a damn a marmot jacket, man, for the Titan Adventure jacket, dude. What is going on, SoCal?
Well, I'm still living the Titan Adventure dream out here. It's a freezing 61 degrees, so I thought I'd put my jacket on and come to you live from the race truck. But yeah, man, sun's starting to come out. I'm starting to be able to get some time working on trucks, washing trucks, and daylight savings time has finally come or gone, whatever it was. I hate it, but now we got some sun in the evening. And we're living the dream again.
And speaking of sun, we got Holden over there. What's up, young buck?
Nothing much, Dave. Just another successful day, selling some Nissans, moving some metal. You know, we keep wondering why the Frontier hasn't been redesigned, and I think it's partly my fault, guys. We sold 3 King Cab 4-bit cylinders, so
wow.
I guess I'm partly to blame for why they just haven't redesigned it. A little truck that keeps chugging along.
Well, quit doing that, Holden. Sorry, Nissan, if you're listening, don't keep doing that, or don't stop. But
sorry, sir, we will not sell you this because we need these things to be redesigned. So I will not sell you these trucks.
This truck is gone, and you don't. It's there, but you don't see it. Basically, that's what you need to do. And speaking of Captain Sales over there, man, I hear you've got one of the sales leader in the Southeast region, man. Hats off to your buddy over there.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Alex Leach, top Titan salesperson in the Southeast, but
what was he like?
Don't tell him that. Don't get his head too big.
Top 20 in America right now or something like that?
Oh, Alex is a good-looking man, and he knows how to sling them Titans. That's for sure. He's a Titan slinging master.
Top 20 in America. I think it has nothing to do with the Titan Adventure, but top 20 in America. Just don't ask how many because it's only 6. So,
so what you're getting at is Titan sales are still kind of trucking along there. So we won't beat that dead horse to the end, man. But guys, it's good to be back, man. It's been a while since we've had all three of us, and each of us have been kind of on our own adventures this past week or so, and. So, Dan, let's start with you, man. You're in your race truck and you're bundled up. Is there any signs of life to that vehicle just yet?
Yes, all kinds of exciting stuff has been going on, Dave, and I'm sure our listeners, if they're following on Facebook and Instagram, what we've been doing. I mean, we've been all over the place between our adventures. To the Mint with a Toyota. I'm sorry, guys. I went to the Mint with a Toyota. That went down, but yeah, I'm in the race truck. It's coming along. You know, it's slow but sure. I sent the whole engine and trans wiring, basically all the wiring harnesses out to the truck. I sent that over to Driven Desires. Brendan Becker over there is going to be basically ripping the whole harness apart and putting it back together with only the most wires back in it. So that's like a big step towards getting. Meanwhile, I'm over here. Working on getting the fuel system squared away.
Nice.
I spent a lot of time when I was out at the Mint talking to Todd Walter. Todd. His name's escaping me. Todd talking about race truck stuff. He ended up winning the Mint, so he's a great guy to talk as far as information on the Class 7100 truck. So I talked to him a lot. Got some good info, and so I'm using that info to build.
Well, if you gathered any of that, Danny's race truck program is going really well. So, Holden, what's up over there in the ATL, man? Is anything fun going on your end of the world?
Yeah, a lot of fun going on. One thing, Danny is going to have one of the best race trucks. He actually speaks Transformer, so he can talk to his truck as he drives it.
He can, man. I'm just waiting for him to install that roll cage. If he would just install the podcast gear, man, it would be a little better.
But yeah, Dave, obviously auto show going on down in Atlanta right now, so got to drive a bunch of the cars down, help Nissan set up their booth. And then from there, did 2 days working down there. They had a job fair. So that was kind of cool. It was a little different than what I expected. Actually, what it was trade schools and high schools, auto shops coming in. So got to talk to some up-and-coming kids who were interested in being a technician, and even kids who are right now in technical schools. So that was kind of interesting, because you always hear how the technician field's a dying field and there's not going to be enough workers. Right. So just being able to meet some young kids who are interested in that. And then after I got done with that, obviously every day had to go check out the competition. Did a lot of time just checking out all types of little things, taking lots of pictures for Nissan of some things that I think are going to be important in some, especially the truck market.
Well, let's do this. Let's get right into this. Oh, yeah, is right. So, Holden, you were at the auto show, man. Give us the breakdown. The Atlanta Auto Show is a fairly big auto show. I wouldn't put it in the Detroit category, but you showed us around, did some live videos this past week, and there was a lot to see there, man. So, kind of give us the breakdown.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of your big three, but it's still it's definitely a large auto show. You don't have as much of the media because you don't have as many big time announcements. I don't even know the last time a major manufacturer did a big announcement there, but you still do have all your big time players. Obviously Toyota, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevy, GMC, Ford, Nissan. You had Mazda there, Infiniti there, Audi, all the other little brands, Honda. And then Caffeine and Octane's there. They take over a big, huge corner of the auto show. So that's really cool since they're based in Atlanta, being able to check out a lot of cool cars there. Definitely a lot to see. There was some cool stuff that Nissan did, and then there was some not so cool stuff. So I think we kind of went over it in some of the videos. The DJ kicks, Dave, I will have to say it's pretty cool little machine in person.
You seen it rolling in, you were kind of like, oh God, this is kind of a
Yeah, I saw it roll in, and I was kind of like, well, first off, it just pissed me off because it showed up on a trailer being towed by a GMC 2500. So I don't know. I'm sure they just hired a guy to tow it, but it was kind of like, really, guys? Like, really?
Well, I know
couldn't at least get the guy.
You were texting us or Marco Poloing us, and you were like, dude, I cannot believe this is coming up on that. And I was like, Holden, calm down, buddy, calm down. It was probably just hired somebody to do it.
But it rolled in, and you're kind of like, okay, that's cool. They set it up. But then the next day when they had media day and they had the DJ going and everything, it was something, a lot of the reporters, a lot of the media people, they were snapping pictures. They were doing some live streaming and everything. So it was something that really did get some attention. And later on in the day at the auto show, they had that thing cranked up and you could hear it throughout the whole Congress Center down there in Atlanta. So it was something that was driving some attention. Obviously, kick sales have been doing a lot better. So I get that. Leaf Plus was there from Nissan, and then they had Armada, Altima, had a Titan Platinum Reserve there that they had the dinky. If you saw some of our videos, you saw I kind of made fun of it. They had the dinky bed tent, but then they had a GTR, and then one of the bigger players that they had, and something that really impressed me was the Club Sport Z. I don't know whether we'd call that a concept vehicle, a project vehicle. But that thing was really sharp, Dave. It did impress me. During media days, they had it unroped off so we could get really close up on it, check it out, fully caged and gutted. Z1 did some stuff to it. A lot of people did some work on it.
Well, yeah, let's break this down a little bit because this debuted. I want to say, God, it was last October sometime when it was probably right before the LA Auto Show. They kind of debuted this thing, and it kind of teased people. The Z, we've fussed about it for a long time. That what is going on with the Z, but Nissan's keeping a tight lip. But this thing is kind of unique. It's kind of where we thought the Z might go. So they took that the 3-liter. That there is in the Infinity, in the little Q60 or whatever they're going to call it, in the Q50, and they brought it to the Z. But what you were saying, it had the manual transmission still, right?
Yeah, so that was one of the tricks that they had to figure out, because this is going to be the first time that motor's ever been paired to they paired it to the Nismo's 6-speed manual transmission. And I want to say, I got it pulled up right here, MA Motorsports was the ones who managed to develop a clutch disc cover and flywheel assembly so they could complete that transition.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, Motor Authority, you can go there online, motorauthority.com, and check this out. But it said, say hello to Nissan 370 Project Club Sport 23. It's a 400 horsepower potential answer to the question of what's next for the Z, which is it really is. It's they took that 3.7 liter V6 out and they took the little 3 liter and threw it in there, but they twin turboed it. So it's 400 horsepower. It's freaking epic. It's still a manual, which I know, there's a lot of people like save the manual transmission, or it's the millennials version of the lockout that nobody can drive. But it's pretty epic, man. Like you were saying, they had a bunch of people go through this car, Z1, and they just really, really made it cool. And what's really cool is that orange on that thing really is a nice color.
Yeah. So Z1, they helped out with the twin turbo and everything like that. And the orange, it's actually a wrap. So it's a very nicely done wrap. Mm-hmm. And then it's on our Facebook page as well. I got some good pictures of it. Tried to get some really good pictures. But the way the exhaust exits through the rear license plate body panel, I thought was a really cool touch. Definitely gives it a different look. And like you said, I mean, could this be the next Z? I know me and you and Danny, we've talked and always said, like, why not go back to a 3 liter and maybe go a 300 route and go back to that 300 nameplate, maybe take a couple renderings of the 240 and some other things and kind of make it like that. And I was talking to some Nissan people, and I was just like, why don't you just come out with this? Like, okay, you're not going to do anything with the 370s yet. Why not make a few limited productions of this and sell that? Because it's definitely something that I think would sell. If I was a 370 enthusiast and something like that was going to come out in a very limited run, keep that partnership up with Z1 and MA and get Nismo involved and come out with something like that. I mean, that would at least hold some of these guys over. Yeah,
well, the cool thing about the Z is the body is still pretty timeless. They did a great job of kind of keeping it with the old 240s and 280s and kind of keeping that design and modding it a little bit. But yeah, to bring that 300Z nameplate back would be pretty special. I mean, GM did it with the Camaro. They kind of did a throwback. Ford did it with the Mustang a little bit, and I could see them doing a kind of a throwback car to this. Danny, what is your opinion on this car, man? Would you, as a racer, would you like to get your hands on this vehicle?
Absolutely. I think that motor is excuse me.
Hiccup Dan.
couple too many drinks tonight before the show. That motor is the future. Oh God, this is going to be a rough show, guys. Hang with me here. That motor is going to be the future of the Z cars.
Oh man, what a time to get the hiccups.
It's going to be terrible.
Hold your breath. Count to 10.
I've been
hang upside down. Drink some water.
Can anybody hold? If you'll take your iPhone and just hold it upside down so Danny's hiccups will go away, we'd appreciate that.
I'm going to go breathe into a bag.
Anyways, but yeah, man, this car it's wicked. And they took, like you were saying, the exhaust comes out kind of like a modern supercar, and it comes out sort of the body panels. So I didn't realize that's a wrap on that thing. That is pretty ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's a super clean wrap. I didn't realize it was a wrap until later in the auto show when they had it roped off. They had the hood popped, so you could see a couple spots where you could see the wrap. But yeah, I mean, obviously this car as it sat, you couldn't come out with it production wise because it is actually gutted and caged, race seats. They did some interesting things on the inside as well. But all that included, it is something, I really think, why not come out with that? Why not just say, hey, we're going to do 1,000 of these?
Right.
With that motor.
Well, the cool thing about this is, and I posted on our Instagram page and Facebook this past week, this style of car really blends itself to the IDX concept that they came out with a few years ago. If they were to somehow do an IDX right now, it would hold people off with something similar to this, but it would hold people off on a Z and maybe a GTR for a few years if you kind of give them, wet their beak a little bit with a manual transmission, 3-liter engine, and it wouldn't even have to be a twin turbo. Like it could just be that 3-liter pumped up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And like we talked about, I mean, Nissan's always been big with enthusiasts, and part of that enthusiasm is being able to, customize and modify your vehicle. So if you came out with the 3-liter and, like you said, don't even twin turbo it, but people would know that you could do it because it's been done already.
Right.
So that's something that would pick up enthusiasts as well, like being able to know, hey, there's a company out there that's already twin turboed this motor, and they'd easily be able to make that kit readily available.
Right.
And that's just something else that's going to sell this car that, if you think about it, Nissan's not even going to have to invest money in. Someone else might buy this car because of something another company has done. Well,
the thing that the IDX lacked was a chassis to put it under, and the current Z chassis would do perfect. And then you're getting 5 to 10 more years out of a chassis that's already, because that IDX is, it doesn't have to. We're not talking GTR fast or anything, but it was a great looking design that just needed kind of something to share with. And I think that the current Z platform would be perfect for that vehicle.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would do 2 motors in it, Dave. I would do one like that 3-liter where it's a little bit more expensive because it's that nicer motor, and then do a smaller motor to where someone can buy and get that look and maybe just not have that same price point. That way you're getting that full range of, hey, I'm a 19, 20-year-old kid, and I just think this is a sharp vehicle. I can't afford the more expensive motor, but I can get it in at this price point. And then you also have that enthusiast who's just like, dude, this is exactly what I've been dreaming of, and something I can build. Well, sign me up.
And of course, this chassis was part of the old G35, the Infiniti G35, and that was a 4-seater. And the IDX would have to be a 4-seater, definitely. So there is you could connect a lot of dots here for Nissan and just build the damn car. I mean, hell, if Toyota came out with a Supra that was like just half-ass version of the concept, why can't they do that with the IDX-Z? Hiccupy over there, you got anything to add to this?
Yeah, I think the IDX should come out with a 3-liter.
I love this.
And at least a single turbo 3-liter as an option, to make the like the sport version of it.
Right.
I think that would be the way to go.
But we've never discussed this before, and it just sort of popped in that, man, this chassis does lend itself to that IDX concept. And, this brings us into something else, man. So I'm always scouring Nissan looking for the latest kind of news, something fun that you guys may not normally find. And Denny, I came across a Jalopnik article, and it was really, I have to say, it kind of caught me off guard, man. And I was watching Jay Leno's Garage, and they had the guy that played, I forget the Korean guy that played in Fast and the Furious, Han or whatever his name was in that movie. He did a 240. He bought a 240 and kind of did his own little thing to it. And then Jay Leno was talking about it, and then all of a sudden, they started talking about, hey, did you realize that Nissan in the 90s, right when the Z was kind of in between the 300 and the 350, they were like trying to kind of keep interest in that car. So they started buying up. They went to like SoCal, Arizona area and started buying up 240Zs. Specifically, they were buying 1970 and 1971 240Zs, and they were doing sort of a resto mod on it that they were going to actually offer it as sort of a new car. Now, they couldn't, since they were restoring these cars, they couldn't consider them new cars. But kind of the neat deal about it was they sent them, had the motors and everything redone. They interiors, everything was factory refreshed. And they put a special badge in it, and they were selling them with like they would have in 1970 with a 1 year, 12,000 mile warranty. Holden, did you get a chance to kind of check this out?
Yeah, I've read the article, and it's crazy. I'm gonna have to ask my dad about it. Just because I had no idea about it.
Right, and there was a dealership in Georgia they were talking about was one of the dealers.
Yeah, that's what kind of got me thinking. Was like, man, I never remember hearing anything about that. So it's definitely something I'm gonna ask him, see if he knew maybe who that dealer was in Georgia. But for one thing that got my attention was the fact that cars back then only had a 1 year, 12,000 mile warranty, and how that would not fly these days.
Oh God!
But then two was just, I mean, think about that. That was back in the day when, if you really think about it, that's when Nissan got it. Like they understood that there was an enthusiast crowd where something like that made sense. And I think one of the quotes in it was where I was reading, just to read a real quick quote from let's see, who was this at the press event? One of the company reps on hand said, "It's a stopgap measure for us. In the event that we bring back another Z car, it keeps interest going, especially from the enthusiast side, and brings more awareness of the brand itself." And that kind of goes into, that's what Nissan used to be all about. Was, hey, it keeps interest going, especially from the enthusiast side. And as a company, I hope that they eventually get back to some of that of, getting back to those enthusiasts. Like we're talking, that's just crazy. They had no idea then if they were ever going to bring back another Z. There was talks that the 300 was going to be kind of it, because there was a huge period in between that.
Well, yeah, because at the time the 300ZX was like 40 grand, which was you're thinking 20 years ago. That's like 80 grand now or more. I mean, it was getting kind of bloated for the price of that car.
Yeah, it was one of those things that was, something Nissan really gambled on, was a car that expensive. I mean, obviously, comparatively, some people, if you're comparing it to some of the other stuff that was out around that time that it competed against, it was technically somewhat of a bargain. Right. But still a very expensive car for Nissan.
The Super at the time was kind of like that, too. It was like kind of way overpriced. And I really think that was you had the kind of 80s, the 300Zs, and then the ZX when it kind of jumped into the 90s version. But yeah, all of a sudden, like dealers, or not dealers, but Nissan and all the other guys were kind of getting fat with their what they expected that car would bring, because the Vet and everything was bringing a lot of money at the time. So why shouldn't your kind of Halo car do the same thing? But so to get in this article a little bit, and we have this on our Facebook page, just if you'll jump onto our Nissan Nation podcast Facebook page, you can find this article. But it says, so in 1996, Nissan went on a used car buying binge, rounding up as many clean and straight 1970, 71 240Z models as they could find, and mostly from deserts. It says former race car driver and Z restorer Pierre Perot of Pierre Z service in Hawthorne, California, one of the three shops they had do this, just started doing resto mods. And Nissan, now whether this was smart on their part or not, they kind of thought, well, we'll get 200 of these cars done, and I think they ended up only selling like 40 of them, but still they definitely they badged them so that these cars, were still special. It's not like you could just sell this as a 70Z. They definitely went through the thing. They reconditioned everything they could. They tried to get the cars to the closest of the paint colors that they could do. They start dealing with EPA issues, so painting these things like they used to would have been a pain in the butt. But the engines were sent to Texas, and the transmissions were sent to North Carolina for a complete rebuild. I thought it was really cool, man. I mean, more than 800 parts were replaced on each car. So that, I think it says a lot, and it's really, really cool that's whoever thought of this, man. I mean, could you imagine one of the big three going, hey, we're gonna sell a 70 Camaro or something like that, just restored?
Well, nowadays that would be like going back and buying some early 90s Camaros or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
20-year gap. It'd be like, we're going to buy some of those early 90 Camaros and restore them and sell them. And you couldn't do that these days. The craftsmanship's just not the same, because they were going on 200-mile test drives on this thing before they even, I guess, they had a certification process. A 200-mile test drive.
Right.
And replacing over 800 parts. And, they definitely put a lot of work into these things too. Right.
Well, they the prices they were getting for them were probably trippy at the time, because it was probably for an actual restored Z, it was quite more expensive. But to say that your local Nissan dealership had one of these sitting in their showrooms, the only bad thing about this was they could not change the speedometers on the car. I understand why. It would have been kind of cool if they could have, but still, I was blown away when I found out that Nissan did this, and it was really in the part of Nissan's where they started, they were kind of going under a little bit, and they were kind of looking for ways to stay relevant. And it sort of parallels right now the way I see Nissan is, they're obviously not going under, but they need something to kind of make them relevant again. And something like this or an IDX or something really would kind of do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, the most relevant things I think you have coming from Nissan is the Leaf, obviously, and Leaf Plus is getting a lot of excitement, and the Kicks. I mean, those are the two cars that they displayed heavily and went over in the media day presentation, if that says anything. I mean, the Kicks is to the point they're having to redo their factory line. So, but is that the car you really want to be drawing that much attention? I mean, that's not. It's a great car, don't get me wrong, and we've gone over it multiple times, so we're not going to get into all the details, but it's not something that's all-inspiring. It's not something that's really enthusiast-inspiring. Is it something you could do something with to maybe make it there? Yes, we've talked ways, maybe throwing juke motors and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, the Z is one of those iconic Nissan cars. I mean, you're still getting the type of marketing from, Need for Speed, Fast and the Furious, and why you wouldn't capitalize on that sometimes just baffles me.
Oh, definitely. And what's really cool is out of the about 40 that they built, 37 of them are documented of these cars. There's if you go to zhome.com, you can find where they actually the owners and stuff are all documented. It shows pictures of these vehicles and stuff. So I like I said, man, I was really blown away when this came across the kind of news desk here. And please, I'd love to hear what your dad has to say about this, because he was deep in Nissan back then and had to know. And so Danny,
yeah, that's about when he was managing a used car lot, used car manager, and he was heavy in buying Z's in the early and late 90s. So I'm definitely going to have to ask him and maybe do a follow-up. If he knows anything about it, maybe even hit him up for just a little interview that we can share on maybe the next episode if he's got something interesting to say.
Right. So Danny, you're in your cage over there. Since you're hiccuping, man, do we need to put you in that 5-point harness and really strap you down?
I'm dying, Dave. I really am.
If you guys can see Danny over here, like, he's so miserable right now, because it's like to get this show going, it seemed like was a nightmare. And then Danny's a talker.
And yeah, I'm listening to you try to jump in. The second I'm like, all right, oh, there it is. See, the second I try and jump in, it's come back. I've been stepping out trying to get some fluids down me, try and get past this. But this is all you're gonna get tonight, fellas.
And speaking
I don't think the bubbly's gonna help with the hiccups though.
And speaking of all,
I'm doing all.
It's buble.
Buble. And speaking of all you can get, man, let's me and Danny, we're gonna wrap up the last kind of Titan adventure interview. We talked to a Mr. Slickrick.510. If you're on Instagram, go give Rick a follow, man. Rick was a very interesting fellow. The cool thing of when me and Danny got to go on this adventure was we really didn't know who they were bringing out with us. Like I've said before, we were sort of that hybrid of we're enthusiasts, but we're actually pressed too. And so we got to meet some like pure enthusiasts that were excited about Titans. Yet, we got to do our little interviews, man. So, Hiccupy, you got anything to add to this before we jump into that interview?
Well, before we get into the interview, I wanted to give a quick shout out, Dave. And I'm sorry if if you get through this with the hiccups. But I wanted to give a shout out to Giddy Camdy, Camdy, however you say, TX2K set 19. He just dropped the GTR world record quarter mile for a GTR.
He's dropping it faster than you're dropping hiccups, buddy.
I know. So I'm just gonna say a shout out to him. He did an amazing job. And from here on out, we're going to go ahead and say Danny out.
This hiccup's for you, bro.
This hiccup's for you. Nissan Nation Podcast salutes you. And that's all I got for you, brother.
So let's get to this interview with Slickrick.510 here on the Nissan Nation Podcast. All right, so we are here at Titan Adventure, and we're meeting all kinds of big deals. We actually just ran into Rick Hernandez, who, Rick, Slickrick.510, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and so Rick, what kind of brought you to a Titan meet?
To a Titan meet?
Or a Titan event?
The Titan Adventure event. How'd you get here?
I got DM'd by Nissan USA Trucks, shortly after one of the big Titan pages posted one of my photos. Asked if I was interested in this kind of trip. Thought it was a scam.
As everybody we've talked to here.
Yeah, I think everybody.
Are you sure?
Asked my social. I don't know. But yeah, so got some more info. Found out it was legit, and couldn't be more happier about this whole deal we have out here.
Well, so how is this going for you? Because I mean, I'm very impressed with everything we've seen so far. I mean, you're a SoCal guy, so the idea of snow is probably not your everyday thing, right?
No, I mean, the biggest thing we have to us is Big Bear, and at that, maybe go once a year or so.
Yeah.
Not too much. But yeah, I mean, it's just a rad experience overall so far. I have no bad things to say about this trip. The level of detail these guys went into planning this thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like the crew they have here, man, with Fluid Peak and Nissan, like they know like schedule like crazy. Yeah. It's and when they have a hiccup, it's like nope, we got another plan for that hiccup.
Yeah, backup plans for backup plans.
Yeah, so you're a diverse owner, right? So tell us a little bit about your Nissan Datsun past.
So I am a pretty hardcore Nissan Datsun enthusiast. I've had a number of Nissans. I have a Datsun 510 right now, a 1971 Datsun 510 I'm currently building. I guess you can call it a resto mod. Everything from the every bolt is being replaced. Whole chassis has been stitch welded. A lot of fab work on the fenders, and everything that could be fabbed has been fabbed. Custom suspension, custom brakes, rear end setup, doing a motor swap. Got a SR20 from a S15 Sylvia.
Well, that's going to be a nice power to weight ratio.
Oh, yeah. I'm aiming for about 400 wheel as soon as it's up and going. I mean, 400 wheel with a car that weighs less than 2,000 pounds would be pretty scary.
Yeah.
What size turbo are you going to run on it?
I have I'm going to buy a GT 3071R.
Okay.
Garrett. And running about 1,000 cc injectors, ready intake manifold, have a dock racing turbo manifold.
Nice.
Internals, I'm gonna build after it blows. I want to have some fun in it first.
Yeah.
It's
get it on its feet and run around until you blow, right?
It's been a 4-year project, so I'm just getting anxious just to drive the thing.
I totally understand that.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like teardowns always go quick. And people think, oh, so I'm just, a few months and I'll be, and it's like, no. I know that if you've listened to the show, I have an Xterra that took 4 years. So I know your pain.
Yeah, it's been on jacks for almost 4 years. And so now that it's actually rolling, I had to get it out of the house and just roll it down the street, wash it, take some photos. So I was just excited. It was back on its wheels.
Yeah, get it in the sun again.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my dad's a huge Datsun guy. I mean, he's about 12 510s. He's the one that got me into the whole Nissan scene, really.
Did you say he owns 51210s, or he's owned?
Yeah, he's had owned.
So
yeah,
he's huge into 510s.
Yeah, he has a 73 2-door as well.
Cool.
510. He just sold his 74-door 510. But yeah, I mean, I got my Titan. He was going to get one of the big 3 trucks, and after I got my Titan, he had to go buy one.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. Really? What other brand was he looking at?
I think primarily is Dodge, really. Yeah.
It's amazing, like, the people that I see driving Titans, Dodge seems to be the one that was on their radar, and they switched to a Titan.
I think it's the whole Cummins deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the main thing there. But yeah, I've had a S14, a 97, 240 SX with a bunch of old rare Nismo parts. Now it's a pretty cool build. I've had a 370Z fully built, a 350Z. I've had a Frontier in the past. I wish I would have done stuff with. Yeah, I mean, my main goal for my 510 right now is to go do some time attack racing.
Yeah.
And just have the Titan pulling it. I mean, it's a pretty cool combo.
So are you planning on caging then your 510? And
at the moment, I was actually just talking to
Yeah, that's right. The
this.
other night we were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't want to do a full weld-in, like 10-point yet.
yeah.
I'm going to do a 4-point bolt-in, just so I can keep it somewhat streetable, just to enjoy it on the weekends.
Yeah.
Maybe down the line, but I mean, that's the point of no return there. So I just don't want to commit to that yet.
Right. Well, it's not like you just find 510s everywhere anymore.
Exactly.
You know? And that's you guys on the that side of the world is. I'm in Tennessee. I'm near Nissan all the time. Like, so when they imported them, they always came to California and they trickled this way. Yep. So if I see a 510, it's like ridiculously priced, and then it's probably rusted to pieces too.
Exactly.
So I'm always jealous of you guys that are like. I know they're still hard to find, but you do have a little better access to them than we do on the East Coast.
Definitely in SoCal, it definitely helps. You don't find as many rusted out 510s.
Yeah.
I mean, prices of everything on 510s, whether it's a rolling chassis, I mean, you can't get for less than $4,000 for a rust bucket.
Yeah, I think one of the things is because I've searched for them a few times, and you can find them. I mean, it's not hard. It's not really hard to find them. Whereas in Tennessee, they may pop up every once in a while. As California, you search 510, there's usually at least one or two.
Yeah, it's even the pup trucks, the old 60, 70 stuff's like a nightmare to find.
Yeah.
It kills me. I found a barn find the other day for like $3,500, completely original, patinaed, but it was really, really nice.
Yeah,
and it kills me. I think it's just one of these guys that put it on social media to show off his truck. He put a price on it, and then when people hit him up about it, he will not return anything.
No.
And it was one of those, I would clear it, and it'd sit in my garage, and on the weekends I'd just go have fun, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But so for us on the East Coast, when I find that, it's like, oh, and then
I think the hidden gems are all in Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, all the classic Japanese stuff.
I think that was an import. I think the Washington area was an import area for Nissan.
Yeah, it was. Huh. And so you'll find a lot of mini trucks out there for sure. 620s, 720s, they're really popular out there.
Well, and then it's a large Asian population out there because it's similar to Japan and stuff. So a lot of Japanese like to live in that area. So I bet too. Then there was that because cause they're very like the Japanese when they first I know in 81 when the plant opened and they brought a lot of Japanese to Middle Tennessee. Like it was strictly they were driving Japanese cars. They didn't want any part of American cars. So I bet it's something similar.
Yeah. They don't want any kind of outside influence on their culture.
Right. So as we're here on this Titan adventure, man, what was snowmobiling? Have you ever done anything like that before?
That was the first time I've ever done that.
Me too, man. And
same here.
So y'all, Danny, you two were in the same group, right? Or were you in
the first group?
No, so you were part of my group who like tumbled a few people fell over.
Times,
yeah, but it was like you could never get speed up because it was like, oh, somebody rolled over again.
Yeah, exactly. I had to push my way to the front to have some fun. That's where all the everybody was going fast.
Yeah.
I learned that right off. I'm like, get to the front. That's less people to go slow in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people bunched it pretty hard. I mean, some girl in our group at least. I mean, went over bars.
Was that the lady from Texas? She was like second in the row there.
She knew. She's the rock climber.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, and her ski ended up in like up the hill or something, right?
Yeah, she. Top of her. That was another one I think too. Someone got trapped underneath a snowmobile.
Well, so the snowmobiling was fun. We did the sleigh ride, stuff like that, which was fun. I mean, it's not like when I think of a truck adventure.
Yeah.
But I was super to get to see all the wildlife. That was super cool. And it's like Nissan cued an eagle.
Yeah, I got in late, so I missed.
Oh, you missed that? Yeah. Oh man, that was a really fun. The dinner was amazing.
Yeah, we got in at I went around 10. And so as soon as we got to the truck and they picked us up from the airport, I'm like, oh, please tell me you have some food. And so they had boxes of food from the dinner.
Oh, nice.
Like,
you guys got in late.
Nice cold steak.
Yeah.
Anything, scraps, I'll take it.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, so have you done anything to your Titan? Usually people that mod vehicles, they never keep a stock factory vehicle.
I can't keep anything I have stock. I mean, it's a curse, I think. But I have a 6-inch lift or 5.5 from ProComp.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the moment, I have BFG KO2s, 35s on 18s. And that's really all I have, minus the pedal commander. The pedal commander made a big difference.
And man, that seemed like 3 or 4 months ago. Pedal commander really kind of dropped for the Titan, and it's like taking the world by storm. Like I know our other host, like he preaches by the thing. He's
after driving the Titans here all weekend, I get it. Yeah, like I noticed a little bit of lag, tiny little lag when you push on it.
And it's all that. I think it's all that computer controlled throttle is what it is.
Exactly, that's all the pedal commander does. It just taps into the throttle itself.
Yeah, it may be a gas mileage thing. Maybe they were trying to bump their gas mileage up and keep it from really jumping up real fast. Or something.
I talked to so my service manager, my local Nissan's really tight with Nissan. They're saying that it was a issue from Cummins. Something with the programming. So when they originally designed the truck, there was no lag whatsoever. And then shortly after it went into production, the lag somehow came to be as a programming thing straight from them.
Huh. Well,
so easy can fix that. You know?
Yeah.
So are you? How are you happy? What year is your truck again?
17.
17. So it's early 17, late 17?
Early 17.
Okay, so maybe something's creeped in. Any complaints so far about the vehicle?
No complaints. I haven't had anything major happen to my truck. The only thing that's kind of bugging me at the moment is it's taking forever to start up. So I think the factory lift pump is about to go out. I already talked to my dealer to see if they can get it replaced. They said we can't do anything until it craps out.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do? Get towed and then have it handled?
Yeah. Well, the great thing is you're with a bunch of people here from Nissan, so you can say, "Hey, come on, guys! Remember that I'm the guy that you spent all that money on a trip. Take care of your boy here, man."
Yeah, we gotta work something out here. We gotta see if we can get these trucks paid off.
Right?
No kidding. Well, we appreciate you coming out and talking to us, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And
thanks Nissan for having all of us.
Yeah, we still got a little bit more adventure today. I guess we're gonna go. Supposedly, we're gonna go into Yellowstone.
All right.
But we'll see how that works out.
Well, we appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks. There you have it, guys. Rick, I want to say thank you for talking to us. That was a super cool interview, and we've got pictures of us doing this interview out in the sun and snow, man. Me and Danny were sitting outside just chatting away, man. Our buddy Scott there was snapping a few pictures and videos of us. The videos I would post up, but it's not very good in Nissan's eyes right now. He was kind of talking about it at the time we recorded a video. He was kind of talking about the bad parts of his Nissan Titan, but the dude definitely is full of Nissan love, man. And I want to say thank you for chatting with us, man. That was the one interview, Holden, that just kind of caught us off guard. Me and Danny were just, we're looking for interesting people out there to talk to, and most of them were just, I won't say boring Titan owners, but just, normal Titan people. And this dude just sort of came out of nowhere and just kind of captured us a little bit. What do you think, Hiccupy? What was that pretty cool?
I think it's passed. Rick's got a huge history in the 240 world, and with the, like you said, 510s, and his dad had been building them for a long time. So it was super cool to get someone that's a little bit, he was into Titans, but also he has some serious builds going on. So it was cool to talk with him. He's a really, really cool guy. And I'm really looking forward to heading out and hitting a track day with him, or even a first drive. I think we're gonna cruise up the coast to one of those famous, like Neptune's Net or something like that. As soon as he gets that thing running, we've talked back and forth a couple direct messages on Instagram and stuff, and I think we're gonna meet up when that thing gets running. So I'm really looking forward to kind of reconnecting with him once he gets that thing all done. I've been watching him on Instagram, and it looks like a great little build. Really, really beautiful car.
Well, yeah, and just just the love of Nissan, man. That was super, super cool. That the family just he talks about his dad just restoring cars and just the love of the brand, which caught on to him. And of course, he's got a kick-ass lifted Titan. I mean, you can't be all bad if that's sort of your tow rig now is a badass Titan. So definitely go check it. Slickrick.510 on Instagram. The dude posts all kinds of cool stuff. He's on Facebook too, but I think the Instagram's the best way to check him out. And let's before we wrap this thing up, man, we didn't get to finish all of our news, man, and we've still got a few things to talk about. We've got Nissan is in They're going to debut a new car, which we don't know what it is yet, at the Tortuga Festival. Holden, did you read up on this at all?
Yeah, I actually did read up on it and have been trying to ask people questions, and half the people asked said, I don't know what the Tortuga Music Festival is, and I have no idea what they'd be releasing.
But it sounds like they've got some big acts coming. I mean, not maybe acts that we're all into, but some country artists. And
yeah, just going down the list, Jason Aldean, Kenny Chesney.
Don't know him.
The only one I know is Kenny Chesney because I think that was playing when I lost my virginity. But
okay.
We got Flo Rida, El King.
Back in 2009.
That was last week, right? Was it in the backseat of a Nissan, though?
It was in an Xterra. Seats, how the seats go all the way down. So you just got,
buddy.
There
Oh,
you go.
buddy.
Hey, everything you need, nothing you don't, buddy.
That is so true.
Did you find the condoms that they put in the first aid kit?
Yeah, that's what the Xterra. Everything you need, buddy.
Anyways.
But yeah, and the only reason we bring that up is so we can kind of get an idea of what kind of crowd exactly this is going to be. I think this is also kind of a benefit for conservation, saving the ocean, and it looks like it's down in Fort Lauderdale. But yeah, just reading the announcement, it does say Nissan's constantly looking for new ways to directly connect with customers. The Tortuga Music Festival gives us a stunning reveal spot for a new 2020 Nissan vehicle with thousands of music fans to help share the moment. This important new production model is going to turn heads both on the beach and on social media.
Well,
so,
I mean, let's speculate right now. I mean, it's got to be the next GTR, right?
It has all-wheel drive, so you can get up and down the beach.
Put some mud trains on it; it'll be fine.
It's really thrown us all for a loop. We all have guessed, and none of us have any hankering as to what really, we think, is there some kind of weird electrical vehicle coming out because it's a conservation thing? Can't be a Z because that doesn't seem like a Z enthusiast kind of a market.
Right.
Can't be a new Pathfinder because the Pathfinder's like, older people looking for like a kind of hopefully a new beefier off-road vehicle. I mean, Navara Frontier, is that really the crowd that you want to pump up for the Frontier?
Well, the timing of it is kind of strange. So it's April 12th through April 14th. Well, April 17th, 18th is press days for New York Auto Show. So it's just a tick before the New York Auto Show. So the only thing I know of the New York Auto Show is there's some anniversary stuff they were talking about doing. So which sadly, guys, I've pumped it up that I was going to be there, and sadly the rug was pulled out from under me, and I won't be there.
Yeah, you got a couple things. If I start trying to really read into it with my speculation, this is something that's going to turn heads both on the beach and on social media.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's got to be something new.
This is Speculations with Holden.
You can't take a regular car on the beach, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, you could take one of those new Altima, the snow ones.
It's gonna be a Volt on tracks. Or not. Why do I always say Volt? It's gonna be a Leaf on tracks. Why do I always say Volt? It's gonna be a Leaf Plus on tracks on the beach, dude. That's what it's gonna be.
It's got to be.
One thing they could be playing too with the whole, hey, why is it going to be before the New York Auto Show? Maybe they release it to build some, big anticipation and try to get some more media over to their booth.
Yeah, they could be trying to beat people to the punch as far as, hey, we already launched this. They already get a little buzz going, and then the media, they get a buzz from the regular Joe, and then they run that into the New York Auto Show, and then they get the media buzz on the back end of it. It might be a ploy for the way that they're rolling out a new vehicle. Well,
and we were talking privately that the auto shows aren't really the primary car interest, these manufacturers anymore. They're going to release concepts and fun stuff, but maybe they're Nissan. It's Nissan, like it or not, Nissan's not obviously the top brand, so they're looking always for a different way to meet their clients and their customers, and maybe this is kind of the new way you do that.
I mean, it would make sense if you were smart. So kind of go right into what Danny was saying. If you were smart, you build that social media a regular customer, regular people see it on social media, they start buzzing about it. And then what happens is a writer who might not have written about Nissan, might not have gone to that booth, now has to go to that booth because of the buzz on social media. Because at the end of the day, they're looking for those clicks. So if there's already a social media 3-day buzz leading up to the music festival, they're going to have to write something about it to therefore continue to get some of those clicks that's already built. So it could be smart. And like you're saying, a lot of these manufacturers are looking for newer, different ways outside of auto shows to build buzz and excitement from their vehicles.
Right, because I know like the New York Auto Show, just for the booth of that has to be super expensive, man. And why spend that when you can sponsor an event and release your car there?
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more people at that music festival than there's going to be at that auto show that are, they're just to kind of get eyes as opposed to tons of media and other people that might be at the auto show just looking for that thing. It may be just a new approach, and for them seeing if this is the way to do it.
And speaking of this is the way to do it, man, Nissan came out this week and Nissan levels up into the world of esports. And guys, like it or not, esports are not going anywhere. It's not just some dude with Oreo crumbs all over his chest on his couch anymore, man. This is serious stuff now. And Nissan has partnered with FaZe Clan and Optics Gaming. Holden, I know you were talking a little bit about this, man. How big is this?
So it's definitely pretty big. I'm not as big of a gamer as I used to be, but I know some of these teams and everything. It starts getting crazy. There's guys on YouTube making tons of money playing, just showing videos of them playing the video game themselves. So it's something different, something new, and it's obviously a lot cheaper than some of these other teams you might see. But Optic Gaming, looking at them, that's 644,000 followers that they have on just Instagram.
Wow.
And FaZe Clan, that's going to be 5.1 million followers. Looking at their video announcement that they did, that's another thing, Dave. Both the teams are very good with video. And they both have pretty good videos introducing Nissan as their sponsors. FaZe Clan's video already has 827,000 views with 1,300 comments.
Wow.
So that's more than Nissan's reaching on their own social media as it is.
Well, so they announced this March 22nd. So, March 21st. So that's pretty, at the time we're recording this is the 23rd, and obviously it's going to, you're listening to it on the Monday morning, but that's a lot of impressions really, really quick, right?
And that's just from one page. Optic Gaming, their video, which was released 2 days ago, already has 425,000 views. And like I said, it's not just a guy who's like, hey, Nissan's sponsoring us. Like, they're very professionally done. They have quite a few vehicles. Kicks is sponsored heavily, GTR, Leaf, and Armada. And I expect more of those type of videos to come from them. So just going through the comments, I've already seen comments of, obviously you're going to have some people, it's the gamer world. You're going to have some of that craziness. But I've also seen a lot of guys, one kid even putting on there, I'm so excited about this because I already own an Altima. Like, he was making this connection to these guys because now they're sponsored by Nissan. So he feels like the special connection because of it.
Well, and according to Zoo World, in 2019, the Global Esports Market Report, the global audience for esports is supposed to be at 453.8 million worldwide. Now, that's worldwide, but that's a ridiculous number, and those numbers are kind of nuts when you think of that's bigger than HBO, Netflix, and ESPN combined. So that's it. That the days of just your television set are over. Obviously, you're listening to a podcast. This is radio. This is modern day radio now. So, and if you follow us on YouTube, that's just modern day TV. And these people, like Holden was saying, they get numbers when they stream, man. And I was reading the other day that some of these sports for like Call of Duty, some of the teams, because they actually have official teams, like the buy-in to be a team was like $25 million, man. So somebody, like, there is somebody at Nissan over there, my hat is off to you because you recognized what the future is, and it's pretty ridiculous, dude. Yeah,
and I looked around some. I don't see where another manufacturer is involved in something like this. So you are ahead of the curve. And like you're saying, I mean, it's the future. It's the way things are going. I read just the other day where subscription services for TV is now actually has surpassed cable and overtaking cable now. So that's another huge thing. Just looking at FaZe Clan's YouTube, they have 5,895,000 subscribers. So I don't know how expensive this would be. I'm sure FaZe Clan knows how to market themselves, but Nissan's on their jerseys. They're all over the place. And then we also know how impressionable, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids are and how dedicated, too, that these fans are. These are the type of people who will literally, if FaZe Clan came out and said, hey, don't drink apple juice, like they're going to tell everyone online that apple juice sucks because FaZe Clan said. So, I mean, there's a smart marketing ploy to that as well. I mean, these people are loyal to FaZe Clan or whatever it might be, but that's the way it is. I mean, you see it on the internet and we laugh at it with how stupid people can be, but if they're going to be that way about Nissan, that's fine with me.
Well, because when we were at the Titan Adventures, man, they had a lot of brand ambassadors, and obviously they had, big followings on Instagram or wherever they were at. But this, dwarfs what those people do. So for these people to be seen in maybe a Titan or a Kicks or whatever, that is huge. And Wendy Orthman or whoever put this together over at Nissan, man, you guys knocked it out of the park. I know we kind of crap on Nissan for their advertising sometimes, man, but this, like you were saying, Holden, if you're playing to maybe a 16-year-old audience right now who obviously can't buy, they're not going out and getting a $40,000 loan or whatever for their next car. But guess what? 5-10 years, you're building brand loyalty like nobody else is doing right now. So it really is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Is it going to work? I don't know. No, obviously, no one's ever done it. But do you want to be the company who didn't try it and then down the road you're regretting it because one of the biggest, gaming teams is now taken by a Ford, Chevy, or GMC? Right. So, I don't know how much the sponsorship is, but to me, it's almost worth the gamble with the amount of followers, with the amount of reach that these guys have. It's one of those things. It's almost a no-brainer. But the only thing I wonder to myself is, they announced this pretty much the day after Mr. Tucker got fired from Nissan. Yeah. So did he put this together and then get shit canned the day before they announced it? Like that would kind of suck.
That would suck. And I was wait a second, it was an amazing idea. Oh no.
Well, and I was about to lead into that. So Jeremy Tucker, who had been with Nissan North America for the past 5-6 years, something like that. If you haven't seen an ad on TV, it's probably because of that guy, or some of the weird partnerships. Now he did have a home run. I will say that the Nissan Rogue partnership with Star Wars, it really did created, Danny's shaking his head no, but Dan, before that movie, Rogue sales weren't what they are now. So it did bring some sort of brand awareness to that vehicle. Now, I thought the Star Wars themed Rogue they did was kind of goofy. I know people that went nuts about it. I know people that were searching high and low because you got some goofy helmet with that vehicle when you bought it. But yeah, it's not for me, but obviously that wasn't intended for me. But so he did have a couple early hits, but ultimately, no, it was time to go. And we had been talking about it for the previous shows that they needed a shake-up, man. And that's how influential we are, Holden. We're getting houses cleaned over there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think the first partnership did well because you had, the movie had Rogue in it, and then you partnered with Rogue. I think the second time was a little much.
Yeah.
And I know there are people that were excited and thought the Rogue One edition Rogue was cool, but I peeled badges off of some of our Rogues to get them sold because I could not get them gone.
Wow.
With the Star Wars logos. So that goes back to some of our conversations we've had before. Some of the people who are super excited about these vehicles also are the ones who never end up buying them anyways. So
right. Well, when your sales are down about 6.2% for the previous year, something that's a number that gets attention, and something had to be down. And of course, I know truck sales are down right now. I know the auto industry as a whole is kind of down right now, but when you're about 6th or 7th down the list of top manufacturers, even though you're a global leader in total manufacturing, the USA and China is where it's at. And if the USA is not happy and you're trying to rely on China for your total sales, changes are made. And this guy didn't really have a background for auto sales anyways. Well, he was from Disney or something anyways.
Yeah, he was from Disney, and I think that's probably where some of the Rogue collaboration probably worked. I'm sure he had some connections over at Disney, and they, worked some deals, and then made some campy auto show cars that looked like TIE fighters, etc.
Right.
And yeah, it may have worked off the bat with the Rogue One. But like you guys said, it got a little bit campy after kind of the initial thing. And I actually looked at the Rogue One edition. I thought it was all right, not too bad, just kind of cool, a little bit of a nostalgia stuff.
Well, it was a pre to the Midnight edition, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think as a whole, a marketing manager, from what we've seen, especially after talking to Holden, and then him kind of shedding some light on some stuff, and we look at it and we're like, wait a second, yeah. We haven't seen the kind of commercials we should expect from a truck that's made in America. You never see a Titan commercial that emphasizes that. And you remember, Danny,
when we were having lunch at that $1 Million Bar or whatever the restaurant we were having, and I didn't realize we were talking to the director of a lot of these commercials.
Yeah,
and I kind of shit on it, and I was like, dude,
exactly
this waspy dude that you've got trying to sell Nissan brand, and it's like every 14 vehicles you have that you're selling in the U.S. is right behind him, and it's like no. It's like a general commercial, and the dude was like, and I'm not saying names because he was super cool about it, and he realized, he was like, dude, I just get paid for making a commercial, man. He was like, I get it.
He makes what they want him to make, and he makes them very well.
Yes,
but if he was to be the one that came out and said, hey, I need a commercial for this reason, I'm sure he would probably change up what he was doing. Because he got it. Like, you could tell when talking to him, he got it. He understood what should be done, but he wasn't quite that high up on the food chain as far as the mass marketing idea. What they were trying to promote, and so they're missing the mark across the board. I think in their commercials, maybe they're pushing the wrong thing. Maybe they don't have the budget in certain areas. We can guess and speculate on what it is, but in truth, like, from consumers that we've talked to, and obviously Holden has a dealership side, we've seen so much that's just like it's missing the mark.
Right.
I think it's partly to just a loss of overall, vision. I think some people just they don't get it because, like I was talking before, I was telling y'all, when we delivered, the Titan, and that's center in the display, there is not one stitching anywhere of any signage that says "Built in America."
Right.
I mean, and then Cummins, right? Like, how many people know it even has a diesel engine to begin with?
Well, they did.
That should be the two major things that you see all over the place.
Right.
We have a Cummins diesel. And we have it, and it's made in America.
When they did some early on, they did some print stuff on that, saying Indiana's where the engine was built, or Deckard, Tennessee, and like at auto shows, it just sort of gets forgotten about.
Well, at the Atlanta Auto Show, I can speak to that because I was there, been there. You're beside Chevy and Kia. Chevy, obviously, everyone knows Chevy's American company. Whether their vehicles are completely made in America or more American than the Titan, that's up for debate, up for argument. But it goes back to, I brought that up. They ended up finally overnighting and ordering big magnets to put down the side because they were like, yeah, that's a good point. Because I pointed out Kia had huge, because the Telluride commercial, we've all talked about it before.
Right.
It's built in Georgia. They had huge peach logos, made in Georgia, on all their vehicles that were made in Georgia. And then they had this giant, I sent y'all a picture of it. It had to be a 30-foot banner, just proudly built in the USA, with a big paragraph about where their plants are that are made in the USA. I'm like, you got both those things flanking you on each side, and no one thought that, hey, maybe we should bring up the fact that every vehicle there except for the GTR was built in America.
Well, and all that comes from leadership at the top, man, and just trickles down. And the trickle-down theory is strong with this one. If your leader at the top doesn't get it and he's a Mouseketeer, maybe your people at the bottom aren't. Maybe they're just those characters walking around Disney, you know. But anyways,
I'm sure Holden and him have probably been down to the old Disneyland trips together. Holden, you sure you aren't tighter with that guy?
Yeah.
Anyways, but so Jeremy Tucker is out, and I would like to say I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm not. But replacing him is Allison Witherspoon, who's been with the brand for quite a long time. She's not a Mouseketeer or anything. She is a person that knows the auto industry and seems to like the auto industry because she's been with Nissan for a long time. And in this Me Too movement, guess what, guys? This is the second woman ever to be in this kind of position. So,
yes.
That's awesome. And I think there is value in having a different perspective in your advertising. And to touch back on their commercials that you see all the time, if it's a boy that cried wolf all the time, guess what? When you advertise something, nobody's gonna bat an eye when it's the same damn commercial, just a different time of year and a different rebate attached to it. So if you do the same commercial every damn time, you're stale. Nobody's paying attention to it. And in the world of DVRs, when you can fast forward something, I'm probably the only person in the world that sees a Nissan commercial and stops the fast forward so I can watch what's going on. And it's time for something different, guys. In the 90s, you had that old Japanese guy that was sort of in like a toy guy that was like showing the Z or whatever, the hard body or whatever they had. And it's time. You know what? It's a global company, but go back to your roots, man. You're a Japanese company. Be proud of that. Be proud of the fact that a Japanese company can build and sell a car in America when, guess what? GM and Ford and all these people who are supposed American companies cannot even build a car in America and sell it. They have to export it to Mexico or Canada or wherever they can get their cheapest labor to build it here. And guess what? Nissan has 2 of the biggest manufacturing plants in America, and they're building and selling to American people. I think that says a lot.
And how many people even know that, Dave? You know what I'm saying?
No,
how
exactly.
many people even know? And that's where they've missed, and that's one of the places they've missed the mark. People don't even know that those are the 2 of the biggest in America.
Well, me and Holden were talking on Marco Polo, and if you guys don't have that app, it's not a paid advertisement, but it is a freaking awesome app that's used exclusively by the Nissan Nation podcast, along with Monster. I'm looking at you guys. I keep drinking it. You haven't sent me anything yet. But me and Holden were talking about this right before my flight out to Wyoming, and we were talking, what was it, Holden? We were talking about doing so there's the design team in California, and then you show the headquarters in Franklin, Tennessee, and then whatever vehicle you're promoting, if it's the Titan, then you show actual people from the plant all in a line, and that's your ad. And then you show the sales team, like somebody like Holden with Regal Nissan, you show them in a line, and then you show a customer sitting there. There's nothing more American than that right there. So I don't know. I'm super happy about it, or super pissy about it, I guess, really. But get your act together, Nissan, and do that. And so without that, let's get to an ad from our buddies, another American company, Lifestyle Off-Road, and here on the Nissan Nation podcast. What is going on, everybody? Let me talk to you a little bit about Lifestyle Off-Road. What is Lifestyle Off-Road? What do they do? Well, let me tell you, they make custom t-shirts, they make custom graphics, stickers, you name it. They also have their own line of clothing. I wear a lot of it, man. I personally like their designs and what they do and how they support, the off-road community and especially the Nissan community. So if you need something from custom stickers, I love you grandma, whatever you want to put on your car, maybe family reunion t-shirts, maybe t-shirts for your club or event, give them a shout over there at www.lifestyleoffroad.com or check them out on Facebook at Lifestyle Off-Road. Be sure to tell them that NNP sent you. Once again, thank you to Luke Panko of Lifestyle Off-Road for being a part of the show. It's been a great partnership over the past 4 years, and we hope it continues, man. So if you need any kind of vinyl work, t-shirts, whatever, if you'll go see my buddy over there at lifestyleoffroad.com, tell him the NNP sent you. So that is it, guys. It's a pretty interesting episode, and it's going to get even better. Next week, guys, we have a really, really good interview. We've got a 370Z interview, and it's a special interview because it's a guy that's racing them, and he has no feet anymore, man. He was in a serious accident and lost those. And I hope it's a long interview, but I hope I hope you really connect with it and enjoy it, and give the guy a follow on YouTube there. But anyways, that is the show for this week. Once again, I want to say thank you to everybody who supports us, whether it be on YouTube. If you go to NissanPodcast.com, hit the old red subscribe button. Means a lot. We're on a goal to hit 1,000 subscribers this year. Once we hit 1,000, it's going to open us up to a lot of things on YouTube. If you're getting it on your old telephone, whether it be Android or Apple, whatever you listen to us on, we want to say thank you to that. And if you want to help support us, you can go to our Patreon page. We just opened it up, Nissan Nation Podcast. We've got a couple people that are already supported us. I want to say thank you to everybody that's done that. Guys, this show has cost me a lot of money over the years, and I'm not looking to make money back on it, really. I'm just, we're looking to build up a travel fund, whether it to be get Danny out this way or me and Holden out that way. You're listening to a free podcast, but it's if you want to support us, go over to Patreon and Nissan Nation Podcast, and we've got a $2, $5, and a $10 a month subscription. Either way, if you don't feel pressured, if you just enjoy the content and it's like, hey, I can't support them that way, go to our Amazon link on NissanNationPodcast.com. Anytime you click over our website, click the banner link of Amazon and do your normal shopping, we get a very, very small percentage back. It doesn't add anything to the cost of your product. It's just Amazon's way of giving us a kickback and saying, hey, thanks for sending them our way. And that's a couple different ways you guys can support it. Once again, YouTube, we're on this goal of 1,000 subscribers. Once we get 1,000 subscribers and you guys keep listening and watching the content we're producing there, we can actually get a little advertising money that way. So it means a lot to us if you're not much on YouTube and you just go over there, activate your account, go over there and hit that subscribe button. If you really want the latest and greatest, hit that bell. And anytime we do any kind of live content or when a show pops up, anything like that, we're wrapping up the 2-year review of the Titan. I know I've been promising it. This week I finished all the video work of it, so that'll be coming up in the next couple weeks. We're all kinds of different content we're trying to bring you, whether it be like a Holden at the Atlanta Auto Show. I was hoping to be at the New York Auto Show, but just need some support, guys, to help. The trip was funded other than a hotel room in New York City during the auto show. $350 a night rooms, guys, to be near the auto show. It was ridiculous. And I know I sound like I'm begging, but any support you guys can do, whether it just be pushing that red button on YouTube, please help us out. But so after that is the Nissan Nation podcast for this week, guys. If you will share the links when you see it on Facebook or wherever you see our links, share it to any place that any kind of car enthusiast or any of your friends that you think, hey, they might like 3 idiots talking about Nissan. Share it, guys. It means a lot. You guys have always been great to us when we've reached out and kind of said, hey, we're trying to meet a goal or something. You guys have always came through. So, I guess that's a show, guys. Once again, YouTube, wherever you find us. However you found us, man, I appreciate it. Episode 89 is with the 370Z Racer. It's coming. This is 3 shows this month, guys. We're really pumping out the content for you. So from my beautiful wife Kelly, who does the intros, to my buddy JR, who's done some of the music, to my brothers from another mother, man, Mr. Holden over there at the ATL at Regal Nissan. To Danny, who's got the Xterra race program that he's doing out in SoCal. I want to say, guys, much love to everybody. It's just a beautiful thing, man, the way you guys have done us, and I really appreciate it. So from all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to wherever you listen to us, this is your Nissan Nation podcast, and we are out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.